Hi guys, welcome again. Today, as promised, we are going to be going back to modeling. So it would be a nice exercise to start with something simple, but the process where we will be going through is going to be quite simple, and while the outcome will be somewhat detailed. So we are going to be making space rocks, or as asteroids. So let's start. Why should there be a delay? Anyway, Lightwave modeler, and let's start modeling something. Let's see now. So first of all, we start with by creating a cube. We do it, with the usual way. I am choosing the tool, and then I'm just making a box. So there is no real need for a a requester or any accurate values here. However, before I start modeling, I would like to show you once more. If you go to wait a minute, I want to see where the options. Yeah, if you go to object options, you will be having this little window here. The usefulness of this window in today's episode is going to be focusing into here. These two, the polygons selections here. So we are going to be toggling triangles and quadrangles. Okay, and I'll show you, and you will understand why during the process. We will be beginning with quads. Okay, we will having quads as default polygons. Yes, so one side here, quadrangles here, and we leave everything else as it is. Okay, pressing OK. Before I continue, let's see if there's anyone around. Hi Midone, hi Lurks, welcome guys, great to see you here. So this is going to be quite slow, so that you will be able to do it even in the even now, during the live the live cast. So by selecting box, now usually asteroids tend to be quite. Hey, hi Amiga Ireland Yarla. So asteroids usually tend to be quite large, so we will going to be zooming out until our grid here shows something like 50 to 100 meters. Okay, so let's zoom out with the comma button. 1 meter, 2 meters, 5 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters. So each grid rectangle here is 20 meters by 20 meters. So if I create a space rock, an asteroid that will be that large, it will be like 80 to 100 meters in length. So let me zoom out a bit. Yeah, there. Okay, so as I said earlier, be ready to change either by going to object options, be ready to invoke this window here, or by pressing O. Okay, so this is the same thing. And if you don't want to be having to go with the mouse to your OK, you just press enter. Oh, sorry, yeah, there. Okay, so in options, we want to have quadrangles on. Okay, so let's start doing making our own asteroids. Okay, so we have quite a large grid, and then we going from viewport to viewport until we have a three-dimensional quadrangle. Okay, everyone's okay with that? Are you with me? Or am I explaining all this too fast? Amazing, great. Anyway, pressing enter, it creates our quad, and we can press D and start, by choosing something like static solid, and OK, so that I will be able to see my quad in the perspective view. Okay. Now maybe here is a good and is a nice opportunity to set up your numeric keys. So my numeric keys are like that. On 1, I have, if you see here, the preview types are like static wire, static front face, static solid, and then moving wire, moving front face, moving solid. So I have assigned all 6 options on my numeric keys, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you can do the same thing now. I will show you how. First of all, you select static wire, and let's say you want to assign that to numeric key 1. Okay, so that 1 will get you the static wireframe. You do that by holding Shift and pressing 1, and then you get a special window that we haven't seen before. Okay, so this explains what options will be saved in my numeric key 1. What I want from all this to change, I only want the preview type. So I deselect everything but the preview type, and I press OK. Okay, so now I will be performing the same thing for all the rest of the 5 options. So I want static front face into number 2. So static front face is like, you don't actually see through the object anyway. So let's say I want this to be in number 2. Shift 2 again. Save view parameters again. OK. Then I go back to static solid, and I press Shift 3 again. Preview type, yes. And now what I've done, I have number 1 has a wireframe, number 2 has a front face, and number 3 has the solid view, static solid view. Now I'm doing the same thing for the moving views. So moving wire. Now I have a wireframe view, of the object moving. So I press Shift 4, OK. Again, go to D to display moving front face. OK. Now I have a front face view of the object. So Shift 5. OK. And then again to display options, or D, moving solid. And Shift 6. And again, OK. So now I have my wireframe static. If I go to 4, I have the wireframe moving. Again, 2 front face static and 5 front face moving. And number 3 solid static, and then again Number 6, solid moving. Okay. And of course, I can also, let's say I want number 7. If I press number 7 now, it's going to complain, no view settings for that key. Use shift to save current view. Okay. So what I want to do, let's say I, just for the sake of it, I don't want the grid to be visible. Okay, so I will be taking away the grid, and I don't want no backdrop. Okay, so let's see. I want it like that. Okay, and I want my viewport to have nothing. So okay, and I want to save this on 7. So Shift 7. And let's say here I am saving the preview type, yes, and I'm saving the visibility again. So I can save lots of things actually. And let's press OK. And now pressing from 7 to 1, and you see everything is saved. 7 has also saved that I don't want the grid. So that is why when I go to 1 or 2, there's no grid. Okay. Whereas if I were pressing D, if I were pressing a 1, I'm at 1, and say I want these two guys here, okay, and press Shift 1, then I am having visibility and preview type, okay, and then by 7 I have nothing, and by pressing 1 I have also my grid back. Okay, you can experiment with the viewport. Actually, the numeric keypad options with Shift and key, or and then you invoke it by only doing the numeric button. Okay, great. Anyway, now why we did that? We did that because we want, especially we want with the press of a button to have a static wireframe with us, available, because we will be going through that a lot. Static wireframe is the only viewport where I can also select points, I can select polygons, etc. So it's quite convenient to do that with a viewport, Now you may notice that the rest of the viewports I cannot do anything, with my left mouse button. It just holds and rotates my mesh here. Okay, but if you go back to static wireframe, I can't do that with my left mouse button. It acts like the other viewports, that it starts selecting things. So how do I move that? Just like the other ports, I just hold my alt, and then it behaves as a viewer. Okay, so right now I'm holding my alt button, and by left mouse button, by clicking, by holding my left mouse button, I can grab my mesh and move it around. Okay, any questions on that? I can wait a few seconds. Anyway, no questions, I guess. So let us continue. So now I have a very lovely quad which is very large. It is in like 120 meters by 80 90 meters by 90 80 meters, I don't know, something like that. Anyway, so let's do something useful with that. It is very important that our object has only quadrangles. Okay, so it's very important that it has only quads. So I have a cube, so it naturally has quads. Triangles would also do, but let's keep it simple right now and start doing some useful thing. Let's say this is our prototype, so we will be saving that as asteroid stage 1. Okay, and so let me go to the directory of my choice and say asteroid 1, because we'll be making several, stage 1, st1. Okay, now let's start by doing something useful with that, and I will be going through subdivide, and pressing that, or Shift D. I love key bindings because they're very fast. Anyway, pressing metaform here. Let's do what metaform does without with fractal at 0. So I will be having something like that. Okay, that's like a very symmetric potato. So let's undo. I don't want that, and reinvoke the window, Shift D, and go to fractal, and let's say, okay, fractal 1, and see what happens. So now it's more asymmetric, much more asymmetric, I have to say. So if you go to moving solid, you are going to be seeing actually some holes in our object, or some quads that are not quite visible where they should be visible. Okay, so this is because our quads, all these quads are non-planar, so we're going to be having a problem if we render them just now. Anyway, it's not ready quite yet, but that's good to know also, that if we see a hole in our object, this is because some polygons are non-planar, but we're going to see that again. Anyway, we repeat the process, metaform with Shift D, subdivide polygons, metaform, and fractal to 1. Okay, let's see what we are doing here. Again, this is the second time we're subdividing. Okay, so let's save once more with asteroid 1 stage 2. Okay, so let's continue subdividing now after saving. Again, metaform and fractal to 1. Now we're starting to having something. Okay, still looks like a potato, but asteroids tend to look like potatoes. And let's see what more we can do. So if this is the detail we want, we undo with one step back, so that in our final step we want to have triangles. How we do that? By going to the options window, by pressing O and choosing triangles. Okay, so that our last metaform step is going to be having triangles there. Triangles is the only the most basic shape so that it cannot be non-planar. Triangles are always planars. They actually are the definition of a plane. You know, you can define a plane by having a triangle. Anyway, so let's save that by doing. That's a good question, Mid. We will see that. We will see that in a minute. Anyway, now I've saved that. So let's go back again and use our triangle, our first asteroid. Hold on a minute. What did I do now? Oh no. There. That's stage 2. Yes, and redo. And this is save stage 3. There. Okay. So let's repeat the process. Let's make another box. This time we can, you know, and see what happens if we use triangles. So before I create my cube, I make sure that I have triangles on. So this is what happens first. This is not optimal, but we can start from that and see what happens then. So with that chosen, we go to metaform and then start metaforming 2, 3. As you can see, things start to get more asymmetric. So if you go to triangles from the beginning, you have too many triangles in one place and then too few in another place, plus you have a very large polygon count. So you have 15,000 polygons compared to, let's say, what was asteroid 3, to 3,000 polygons. Plus you can see that it's more symmetric here. So you know, if you have bumps and valleys and mountains, they are much more symmetrical compared to that. Okay, so just let me there. So that should be, that is more fair for a comparison actually. So 2.5, and then I have this one. Okay, so you see it's something like you cannot control the similarity of the detail. You have these nodes that become, you know, something like poles, and then you have everything radially going on there. So if you say choose to modify this, you know, say I want to modify that and do something like this in my stone, it's not the same by doing that, because you it makes it not good. But anyway, yeah, you can try both. You can see which is best, you know, for your application. I really prefer that because it's more homogeneous. The spread, the polygon spread around is more homogeneous here. Let's see now. There is another idea now. Yeah, it can show uglier. We can try that really. So let me save this example as well and call it asteroid triangle. Asteroid triangle. Anyway, or something like this. save that and see how it looks. We can also choose. There's a middle path here. Now that I'm thinking about it, let's say I'm making a box. Options back to this one. This is my box. It's quads. Okay, it's made of quads. I'm changing now to triangles. Let's see if I'm going to do it correctly now. And see if I am having the same thing now. So if I do, yeah, if I metaform something, undo. It can look good. Yeah. Anyway, let me delete that. And another thing I was thinking about was if I, let's say you oh no, undo quads. You have a quad, you have a cube, and you metaform like once, and then you choose to convert all polygons to triangles, and then you continue by metaforming. Aha, that looks. No, because now you're making quads again. Maybe let me see what type of polygons I have right now. So you have, yeah, this is, yes. So I did it incorrectly. So first of all, you have quads. Then on then the next step, you convert into triangles. Okay, this is not a subdivision. This is a conversion to triangle. So you may have a quad, but then if the quad is non-planar, it becomes planar at the same time. But if it wasn't non-planar, if it's on the same plane, you just divide it into two triangles. And when you do you convert to triangles, you change that as well, and then you continue the metaforming path. Yeah, and you have the same node, you see. Yeah, I think, yeah, this can look bad in texturing, because there are very long polygons here. So if you try to smooth them out, they might seem like out of this world in terms of, they might seem like drawn towards the point, So let's see how they look like actually. Oops. Yep, here. So let us load our objects. No, not this is episode 19. And we had the asteroid, this one, as well as the triangle one. Okay. So this is what the camera sees now. Objects, let's put this object here. And the other object here over there. And we don't want shadows right now. And so let's go to surface. I have I created a nice surface here. Let's see if it works good for both of them. Yes, I just saw what you commented, the 74. Yes, it is also a consideration that you can have. So you can also see here my quad you know, the first asteroid we started doing, you know, we started converting from quads, and in the final step we just subdivided everything to triangles. You know, it became much more uniform texture, while here you start having, you know, these geometry errors. So you can also see that there is these focus points that are, you know, they have actually too long triangles, so they draw their triangles into nodes. Let's see if I can zoom in into that. Yeah, of course I can zoom in. Here. See how it looks. Yeah, so you can see that there are some ray tracing errors here. So the renderer is trying to smooth everything out, but there are some extremities that do not get rendered really well. Okay. So let's go and model some more interesting stuff. Let's say I want to create some things. Let's say I want to create an asteroidal donut. Anyway, for some space cops out there. And let's start by making a box. Again, we create the box. Okay. And press undo. Press undo, great. And change to quads again. And now, yes, now it will be great. So what I am aiming now is to create a donut of you know, a quadrangle cubical donut. But anyway, I'll show you what I mean. So by selecting points and moving them around, I can create, say, this here and here. So by changing to polygons and selecting only this, let me show you what I'm doing now on my viewport. Okay, so I want to have only this side selected. Okay, and then by pressing B. Okay, let me take it from the start. I created a cube. I selected 2 points here. Then with modify move, I moved them a bit backwards, and I did the same to these points. Okay. Then I changed into polygon mode, selected one quad here, one surface, one polygon here, and now I'm pressing B for bevel, and I am inputting the below values, inset 0, plus minus 0, and on shift I want my quad to be shifted like 10, 20, 15 meters. So I'm doing the 15 meters, you know, experimenting. Yeah, I want it a bit more, so undo, and let's do 20. Yeah, 20 is quite nice. Okay, so having this little polygon here selected, you know, which is the new one, I'm pressing T for move. You know, now the move is highlighted, and doing just a bit here. And then I'm pressing Y for rotate, as you can see up here. and just doing a small rotation here. There. Okay, now I'm beveling again. I am leaving the values as it is. Okay, then I'm moving my view a bit to see what I'm doing with my by holding Alt and holding the left mouse button also. Yeah, having selected having the newest polygon selected, I am manipulating again, just like this, bit of rotating there. Bevel again, the same, moving with Alt and left mouse button my view so that I can see everything. There again, rotating, bevel, okay, rotating, bevel, okay, rotating again. Every day I'm in what manner? Beveling there, moving my there, rotating a bit. Perhaps this is enough. Let me see. Oh, okay, we can bevel one more. There, bevel, and there. So now I have to close my donut. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is where my perspective static wire viewport comes in handy. Okay, so having selected this, I want all my views to focus on this polygon here. So I am holding my shift and pressing A. So with shift A, I have focused on my selected polygon. This is too close for me actually, so I will zoom out once so that I can see everything here. Okay, and then I will move my viewport a bit there so that I can have everything. So what I want to do now is first move my polygon a bit. Okay, there. And now what I want to do, I want to join. This is a very important step because this is actually we will be closing the loop on the donut, but we want to do it without leaving any extra polygons around, littering my memory, you know, and slowing us down. So let me change that into solid so I can show you what's going on here. So I have a polygon here and I have a polygon here. That is why I can't see through the object, of course. Okay, so first I'm going to be joining the points. These two will become one, these two will become one, these two will become one, and these two will become one. Okay, so let me first do that. So let me enlarge this viewport here because I just want to be looking. And let's change into point mode. Changing into point mode, first I select the first point to be merged and the last one. So I will be having 2 as the point count here. Okay, having done that, I press Ctrl and W or weld. So something happened here. So the last point to be selected was the destination. That will be stable, and the first point is going to be merged at the last point's destination. Okay, likewise 1, 2 here. So this point is going to be welded here. Control W. Okay, and these two as well. 1, 2. No, well, hold on. First I have to deselect, and then left mouse button, 1, 2. Control W for weld, and again, oh, deselect. Sorry, forgetting. 1, 2, welding. Okay, so now I have, if you can see on solid, I have joined my donut, but we're not done yet with the joining, because I joined these 8 points into 4, but there were two polygons here that are not going to be visible, and that's why we since we don't need them, we can discard them. Okay, so if you select this area here, you are going to be having a count of 4. So it's this one, 1, 2, the ones that are visible, and these 2 that were the edges of the of these 8 points. So we deselect this one, 1, 2, with my left mouse button, and now I have a clear view of these 2 polygons. See, these are inside the donut, these won't be visible. So that's why we can actually delete them, and we just press delete to delete them. Okay, so now to verify that we did everything right, we just press moving solid and start moving my object. Okay, if I had done something incorrectly, say this, I just pressed undo, hold on, there. So let's say I deleted the wrong, say I forgot to check how many I had here, and I deleted everything. Okay, then I go to solid and see that, oh no, something's missing. See here, something's missing here. There should be something here. So I'm going back to wireframe, pressing undo, and then I am making sure first that I have selected only the polygons that are inside the donut. Okay, see these 2. Bye bye, and then moving solid again, and I see my object is flawless. There are no gaps here. There are no polygons that are turning on or off, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so that is how we join our construction. That's how we join we join points, and then we make sure that there are no polygons in the middle that could hold some memory, etc. This is called, we're optimizing our object quite simply. So after we did that, we have an object that is a very nice candidate for a donut asteroid. Okay, we have everything in quads, so let's continue by subdividing. Metaform, and see, how lovely it's starting to show. Metaform again. Oh, wait. Yes, what did I forget? I forgot to save. So it's like donut asteroid stage 1. This is our, should anything go wrong, if I go to layout again and I haven't saved and I go back into modeler, all my undo levels are gone. So it is very important that I am saving every stage. So This is stage 1, metaform, and I'm saving. Donut asteroid, stage 2, subdivision, again, stage 3. By the way, you can see now in solid moving representation that there are some polygons that keep turning on and off. These are non-planners. Okay? Anyway, we saved that. Metaform again. Actually, let's do that our final stage. So I'm going to options, triangles, okay, and then subdivide. And I think we're done. So I'm saving that as well. Asteroid stage 4. Define a surface by Q and say donut asteroid. Apply. Save that again with my surface now. Yes. And now let's go to layout and see what we have done. Let's clear everything. Load my asteroid, donut asteroid stage 4. Great. So move my camera there. And my surface, load the surface again. And see what I've done. This is very funny. So if I anyway, let's remove that actually, and also make it more, become more spacey. So what I'm doing now in space, you know, since there's no ambient lighting, you know, unless you have some moons, you know, or that reflect back the light. But anyway, ambient intensity to 0, and then on camera I am turning on shadows. So let's see how much more you know, realistic it will look. So there is your donut asteroid. Well, let me see here. Yeah, this is handmade, but anyway, it will look even better when you have the... So now you can also, you know, if you want a higher level of detail, you can always, you know, you can always load your stage 3, you know, and quadrangles, and then metaform once more, and then the last one, you know, you just add a stage, say. So let's do that again. So now you have lots of polygons, but they're more detailed, you know, they're more detailed. So let's see donut asteroid again, and save that as stage, let's say final, there, and see what we did about that with that. Load object. Actually, we can replace that and see how much better it's going to look. Load the surface and delete the this reddish texture here. Much more detailed. It takes quite a quite a, you know, quite some more time to render, but it's very, very, very detailed. It looks great. And you can also play again with displacement, have some fractal bump, 0.1, let's say, and see how it, hold on a bit, let's say 0.4. No, yes, I have to do this 100, 100, 100 there. No, no, it needs a lot. The more the polygons, so let's say 4. Frequencies 2, let's say. And let's do 1,000. No, our grid is 50, so let's do 50 there. And play some more with that. Let's say 14. There. So you can start deforming it, you know, and playing with the geometry. If I say 20, 40, you can do, you know, lots of crazy stuff. There. And let me see how that looks. And of course, you can save the transformed geometry and you know, have it and create very, very unique shapes. This looks great. You have these you know, these deformations here. Actually, they don't look quite as realistic, but anyway, yeah, you can so let's say, okay, let's put it into 10 and let's do a flyby actually there. Yeah, that's much more not normal. And then let's go, let's say here, to see how realistic this is. You see, there are some holes being created here by the deformation. So when you try this technique, you know, when you try the displacement map, you might want to inspect your object afterwards and see if there are some holes, you know, inside. So then you can back up a bit, back away from, you know, from 10 go to 8, say, and then, you know, inspect that. And this looks very, very actually realistic. Very, very nice. Let me there. Yeah. And of course, you know, let's go to modeler again, back to modeler, and say, okay, let's, I want to make, you know, we can make, you can make letters from that. Oops, sorry. Using these techniques, say you can, there, here, then create, say, or you can work in pairs here, 1, 2. You can bevel there. Having both chosen, you can move them down, say here, and then you can manipulate them in ways you see fit. Here, with this again, here, let's say. Then you go to point and do quite some there. And here again, perhaps like this, and then like this, and there, and then you can say here, nah, there. Let me go pointwise and there. And this point is going to be here. Let's make the Amiga A there. No, actually, I'm undoing that. I don't need that. I need that guy here. And using that, I'm beveling that. Yes. There. Let's do that. Let's keep that there. So now you have this form, this little object here. So let's see how it's going to look like if I stage 1. If I go on and start metaphoring it. Oops. So let's see. Ooh, ugly, but we don't get disappointed. So it started to take shape, you know. This looks more like the Starfleet insignia, but there, and then the last one, triangle, and final. Yeah, and now this is my asteroid, you know, just another shape. Okay. One last thing I wanted to point out, but I forgot. Yeah, yes. You can experiment with the let's say I'm there and I want, oops, what I do, shit, there, undo, quads, okay. So one thing you can experiment with, let's say I want to do a bevel here and there, yes, and do that, something like that. And let's say I want to experiment, you know, fractal goes to 1, so my fractal starts to work here. And what I can do is, you know, you can try increasing the number during the middle stages. So this is stage 1. Okay, stage 2 I can go to 1.2. Okay, then I can go to 1.7, for example. Okay, then I can go to 2.5, and you can see there are things going on here. So if I go back to stage 1, okay, and go with 2.5, the sooner I use a large fractal number, the more it will affect the general form, but I can smooth it out in later in later stages. So now I used 2.5, so I want to start smoothing out all these, so it will get smoothed out by choosing by applying less of a fractal into it. So you see there are some nice mountains going on here, happening here, which are great. So if I hold this low a fractal number, they are going to be very, very nice and original, an original asteroid. Okay, and go on. So yeah, I mean, I can do this at the final stage, say here, there. So this will look very, very nice. Also, at the earliest stage, I can try using, say, I can try the magnet tool here and start dragging things, or here, start dragging things, do stuff. Or I can do that at a later stage, depending on how strong I want the effect to be, or how general, the general geometry, or maybe plotting some details later on. Okay, so this thing, it's generally nice to edit at a sooner stage, with some big deformations, and then smoothing out during the later stages. So let's see how this is going to look. Oops, sorry, cancel, undo, quads, say here, quads, there. Now I see, oh, okay, this starts looking good. So this is stage 3. I can, start, say, twist the thing and make it very original. So yeah, there, and start smoothing out stuff. See how it is. See what what has become from just a cube. Actually, it was 2 cubes, because I extended, I beveled it. But see how original it has become. And going on, and then the last one with triangles there, last one there. So let's save that again as a no, let's do that asteroid 3. I don't remember how many they are, but asteroid 3, and save that as asteroid 3 final. That was bad. It was bad from me, that from my point, that I didn't save the earlier stages, but yeah, anyway, just for the sake of the of the example, So saving that, and then layout, and see what's there. And I'm loading the object, which is asteroid 3 final. There, let's apply the same surface. Great. Oops. What happened? Ah, yes. So everything starts lagging. Actually, this is very, it's very. So this is my. Whoa. So now that I'm starting to have lots of a lot of polygons. So let me lighten things up a bit. So here, there, yes. Now everything is going to be much smoother because I have turned this bounding box point polygon threshold down a bit. And by the way, I can see also that I have modeled it, but I haven't centered it in the end. That's bad practice. So I'm going back to modeler and pressing F1 so that I'm centering that, and then saving it again as Asteroid 3 final, for example. There. And now by replacing the object, it's going to be where I have it, and my bounding, you know, the pivot point is going to be at the center, as it should. So I create my geometry, and at the same time, you know, either in the beginning or when doing something like organic objects such as this, I make sure to know where my pivot point is, so that, you know, I will know how it will behave, how it will rotate, you know, in layout. So let's see what we did. Great, because I haven't had any surface on that. Anyway, and let's load a surface again. Save all objects. And see what I made of that. What, you know, if it looks good. Do you have any questions so far? Whoa, I see these black points. I don't know if they are. Let's see, what are they? Oops, sorry. There, maybe they are shadows, but let's see what they are. There are some errors here. So, yeah. Yeah, there are some errors, so maybe I should go back during the process and see where these errors start happening. So it can mostly happen due to an exaggerated fractal number. So yeah. So that was it about creating asteroids. You can of course experiment and then post some examples on the forum if you like. In general, we keep doing quads until the final step. Just for the sake of the argument, you can create asteroids, you know, by having quads and not triangles. But you are going to be having a lot more, you know, a lot of holes in your geometry when it gets rendered, due to the fact that when you subdivide and you subdivide with fractals, it's 99.9% certain that you are going to be having non-planar quads. So that's why we our final stage of subdivision has to be with triangles. Okay, any questions in that with all this information? No questions? Hey, you're welcome. No question at all. Everything is crystal clear. Okay, since everything is crystal clear, I will create a thread in Amiga Raytracers, and you can post your asteroids there. How does that sound? Potato storm, of course. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you very much for being here. Yeah, really, if you guys want and have time, post something, you know, on the forum. I would be very happy to see what you created. If you have any questions, you can, of course, email me, or via the Patreon messaging, you can message me. And what else? Yeah, I mean, whatever, if you have any questions. Of course, you can support the course via patreon.com Muadib3D. On Twitch TV, you're already a subscriber since you are here. YouTube also, I think, you know, the Muadib3D channel. And of course, feel free to email me at Muadib3D with anything, suggestions, complaints, questions, or, you know, how do I do that, or anything. And last but not least, a shout out to all my patrons, which is Muadib, Muadib, which is Midwan, Yarla, George Sokanos, Volquero, GS, Anthony Jarvis, and Todd Chamberlain. I didn't forget anyone? No, that was 6. Yeah. Thank you guys. See you next week, if not sooner. So, bye bye. Thanks for being here. Cheers.